Okay, in between editing my Idaho stuff, we've got to do an update on the Nancy Guthrie case. Hey guys, this is Julez with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer, everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, I wanted to do just a quick update on what's been going on from when we went live to catch up then up to the time of posting when it comes to this case, but I didn't want to go live and spend a bunch of time on it. Most of this isn't coming from law enforcement specifically. I mean, sort of it is, because the sheriff, as useless as he has shown himself, is deciding to complain about not having enough time to do a press conference because they have quote unquote work to do, while he sits there and does one-on-one interviews with individual reporters. And that takes 10 to 15,000 times longer than any sort of 30-minute press conference would ever have taken. All they needed to have done was announce they were going to have a press conference, have the mainstream media people or whoever they wanted to actually give access to an email address to send questions into, and they could have chosen questions to answer, not taken any questions, and then gotten off the press conference. There's ways to have handled this to where Mr. Sheriff here wouldn't have felt so overwhelmed because of how chaotic it is. But we were also alerted by a viewer in the live chat that the DNA for the gloves had come back, and just like how the insanity in the Idaho case unfolded, we had multiple pieces of DNA being tested, one a glove, one was a DNA source from inside of Nancy's house that they are not giving us any information on. Both of them came back to not have a single hit in CODIS, and the two DNA profiles themselves do not match. There is so much insanity from that all the way to a freaking Range Rover with tip plates. There's a lot going on and a lot of patterns, but that's not what this is about. So let's continue with the actual updates here. Now, I mentioned to you guys in the live how Brian Inton at least was reporting that they were being told that the FBI was going around with a list of like 40-ish names or so, trying to get information from places that sold weapons. Now, I'll go ahead and play this here.
It was either Tuesday to Thursday, one of those days that an FBI agent had came in. He was looking for some help getting some information on some names of a list that he had. He had a paper, well, 3 papers with names and photographs. And so he basically gave me a paper, 3 papers. I want to say there was probably 6 to 8 people per sheet. And he wanted to know if I could check on our system if any of those people had purchased a gun in the last year. I went over to my computer. The POS system that we have is set up to where if we type in the last name of somebody, it pulls up their whole profile, you know, first name, last name, address, phone number, all of that stuff. And nothing showed up. So that none of those people have been to this gun shop, and a lot of the last names honestly were very uncommon. Not every single person looked exactly the same, but I would say that 80% of them were Hispanic.
I don't know, again, how this would be the way to do this, unless they think that somebody came in and purchased a weapon and then allowed another person to use it, or purchased it purposely for the intent of giving it to another person, and maybe they're trying to find the connection for who actually purchased it. But to me, if they already know the very specific weapon that they're looking for, shouldn't they also be able to have a database to pull all this stuff up in? I don't know. This feels kind of old school to me. Now, the biggest, you've got to be kidding me to, if you think I'm going to believe that boo-boo they're trying to pull out there now, is about the Adult Protective Services card that was on her door. The story they're trying to tell us is that after she was already reported missing, that a neighbor called Adult Protective Services, and then Adult Protective Services went out to the house. That's what they're trying to tell us. But that ish doesn't make any sense. If you ever in the history of all of our lives combined found that Adult Protective Services goes out to a place where someone has been reported missing and they know that person's not there, that goes completely against the initial reports we heard about how something was actually filed against somebody who does some sort of services for Nancy Guthrie. Now, again, I don't know. We just know that the damn card was there. And we know that it's in the very, very, very initial photos that came out. So for it to be there so quickly, and for her to have gone missing on a Sunday, and people were taking pictures on a Sunday, and that card is there, I don't know. I'm just not buying that story. And to me, it's super important, because if this was like somebody trying to find a place to rob from, I don't even know if I'm entertaining that, honestly, at all. I really just don't know. I don't know at this point. But if they were trying to find a place that's easy, wouldn't you want to target a place that looks like it's big that maybe only has one elderly person in it, where an adult protective services card was hanging out at the door, making you believe that nobody cared about them and nobody took care of them. I mean, it's sort of like, here you go. Now, I would think that the men in slacks and white button down long sleeve shirts that are climbing ladders in the area of the neighborhood of Nancy Guthrie's house are not going in and looking at footage and stuff for the very first time. You know, you would think that this would have been our one situation, going in, camera footage, doing all the things with the direct neighbors. Them being there over 2 weeks later, I don't know, man. This whole thing just seems like they've got nothing. Now, when the sheriff was doing all these one-on-one interviews, he was asked specifically about Mexico and everything that's been coming out of TMZ and these emails. And of course, he's like, we don't have any information on that. Well, a real investigator, a real law enforcement officer, if that's a true lead that's being followed, is not going to come out here on national frickin' TV and be like, yep, we're in Mexico right now. That would be the most ignorant thing that he could possibly do. Let's be so serious and remember this is reality, okay? So for TMZ to again be entertaining the emails after they already said they weren't going to be entertaining the emails anymore, and now he's basically claiming that they have contacts within the FBI claiming that they're now contacting Mexican authorities. If that's the truth, then why the hell are you out here telling us this? I have a lot of issues with the way that this case has been handled. And that's coming from me, who doesn't like mainstream and doesn't like when we're being lied to and we know that there's a big narrative being played out. But when the cops are actively following someone and there's active shit happening, it's just, this is not good to do. Like, this is putting the victim in even more danger, because every little move that the people could be making is being exploited by thousands just to be able to be the first person to get the story out. And I mean, so far, it doesn't really look like they've landed on anything. The Luke Daley guy, Daley, however you say his last name, that's been confirmed as of this morning. His own attorney has come out and spoken to someone who has put a statement out and claimed, yes, he is the person that was detained. Him and his mother were detained in order for the house to be looked at. Neither one of them have anything to do with anything, and both of them hope that Nancy Guthrie is found quickly and safely. And the same thing goes for Carlos. Carlos is now out here and he's like, I want a damn apology. Damn straight that man is deserved a freaking apology. Are you so serious?
It was my day off. I was working with my wife and everything, and all of a sudden, well, it happened. Like, they were following me, and I pulled them over to see what was going on. And after that, it's been crazy, like, nonstop. My brother-in-law, we didn't even have nothing to do with it, and they still arrested him and everything. They put him in the SWAT car. I didn't know that. They put him in the SWAT car. They even detained my wife and my kids. It was scary. Once they released me, they still had the street blocked off. They didn't even get off the car or nothing.
The Pima County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Nanos need to clear Carlos's name. They've falsely arrested an innocent man. They've subjected his family to misery, humiliation, handcuffs, and there's no evidence. Our understanding is that they obtained the search warrant they obtained that allowed them to search Carlos's vehicle and his family's property through the use of a secret affidavit. As far as we know, that affidavit is sealed and remains sealed. And, our suspicion is that this has something to do with cell phone pings, which everybody knows are unreliable. It's their job to come forward and say what evidence they have is. I mean, the fact that they went after Carlos so hard and then let him go, it's obvious that they had the wrong guy. It's obvious that they messed up.
For all of this SWAT shit to have happened, there has to be something. And so far, if they're just letting these guys out and they're just going out back to normal and they're out, putting out statements, and one of them's doing interviews and they're expanding the search area for how much camera footage they're looking for, and they're expanding the dates of what they're looking for, and, oh, we don't really have any answers to anything. I mean, it kind of looks like they've got nothing, guys. Like, none of this looks good. Now, I do have a theory, but I'm going to put it into another video because it doesn't have anything to do with, like, a person specifically. It's just a scenario. And I mentioned it in my live when we went over all this stuff. I believe it was yesterday on the 17th. But we are going to talk about it again separately because I really want to get you guys' opinion, and I want it to be the only subject of that video. So if nothing happens and she's not found by today, then I'll put that out tomorrow because I've got a lot of editing again, like I said, in the Idaho case that I'm doing right now. And I'm really trying to get this big video project done. Oh, one more thing that popped up while I was in editing, that's the latest technical update in this case, is the newest discrepancy when it comes to polygraphs and or lie detector test taking place today for Pima County. Now, Brian Inton came out and said that he was informed that they were to clear people in the Nancy Guthrie case. But then Matt Finn came out and said these were polygraphs for new hires, according to what Sheriff Nanos just told me. So even for something like this, there's back and forth misinformation, different stories coming from not people like me or people that are boots on the ground, but good old mainstream boys who, just like Ashley Banfeld and Megyn Kelly, cannot stop just talking their faces off without making sure they have valid information. It's amazing how much shit they talk about us when they're the worst of the worst. So for now, let me know what you guys are thinking about the update, not updates in this case. Like, honestly, I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. This is just insane. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.